Hey guys, Noel here, and I just wanted to introduce this video for the Noel ComiX YouTube channel and the Edo4 YouTube channel. Recently, I was interviewed by Edo4, super cool guy, for the Edo Talking Fun podcast. You can also check him out on the Eddie Coco second Edo4 YouTube channel. This was an awesome interview. I was honored to be interviewed by this guy. Great guy to nerd out with. This guy's got a lot of knowledge about a lot of cool things regarding J-pop, K-pop, anime, and just general 90s nerd culture that came over from Asia. So please enjoy this interview, support the Edo4 YouTube channel, and support the Noel ComiX YouTube channel. And until next time, guys, my name is Noel, and I will see you in the very near future. Bye-bye.
Talking Fun with Edo Podcast.
Everyone, it's Edo4, and I'm back with a 7th episode of the podcast, Talking Fun with Edo. Welcome to Edo Coco's second channel, or if you've been here before, then welcome back. On today's episode, our special guest is Noel ComiX. So here it is for the interview. But before we get to that, I have a new setup of lights, as you can see up top of the video right here. So now let's get started with the interview. Hello everybody. Now we're on the second interview with my guest here, Noel ComiX. I first met you 2 years ago when you uploaded a Korean music video from a station that's called the International Channel, and I commented like, where was it from? And you replied back, Music Video Heaven, which is like the Korean version of The Box. Have you seen the channel that's called The Box?
I have not seen the channel that's called The Box. What is it?
I'll tell you, and I'll be like sending you like a lot of stuff. So The Box is basically like, this was a program that started from like 1992 to 2002, where basically you can call in, and I think it was like a public access channel, but you could call in and you could request.
That's the best stuff.
Huh?
That's the best kind of stuff. Those cool public access shows.
So you could call in, and then you can request a video of any type, or even your own video, and it was like from Canada, but it just came like everywhere. Like it had it had every genre too. Like
That's
I wouldn't
awesome.
even be surprised if I don't know if it did international requests, but I want to believe it has. But I remember that was like my first musical channel before MTV, BT, and a whole lot of other things. So that's what it reminded me of. It's up this time, like Music Video Heaven, it had a host, and it's like, well, this didn't really have a host. It had a lot of commercials of themselves, but it did like promise to show like any music video that you requested, or you can actually like request your own made music video on there, and it was like nationwide too. So also along this, you have like 1.112K subscribers. So like, how you feeling today, man? How you feeling on this beautiful Saturday?
Well, it's not so beautiful here in upstate New York. I mean, it's pretty fall leaves, but it's been raining literally since 7 o'clock this morning. So, I mean, I guess if you think like the movie Blade Runner crossed with upstate apple picking is beautiful, which I guess it is. So it's been really good so far, actually. It's actually quite nice out, combining the constant rain of Blade Runner with wonderful fall foliage. I don't want to pronounce it how Marge Simpson does, foliage. But yeah, no, it's great. I mean, I feel great. I've got 2 cute little kids. I actually just did a fan art video that I'm going to upload to YouTube so in America, I guess the cartoon would have come out in the 1970s. It was a Batman cartoon. And then in the 80s, when Batman got more popular, they broadcast it in Japan. and I think the artist name was like Creamy Sue or something along those lines. And so I got the Japanese closing credits to that American Batman cartoon, did my own fan art to it. So I literally just finished that this morning. So I'm going to upload that a little later because I'll have to do those like fan art videos crossed with like obscure music that I like. And and I've just been playing some JoJo's Bizarre Adventure on the PlayStation 3 and watching Pluto TV and hanging out with my kids, and it's great.
Sweet. It's so funny because half of the questions it was like I was about to ask you about, like we'll go over it for time. So
Sure.
where are you from? Like I know like but it's like where are you from and like what year you were like born in?
Sure. Well, I was born in 1982, so I consider myself a child of the 80s, even though the 80s were, very, I cling to whatever memories I have of the 80s. It's not like in the 90s where everything is kind of more fresh and crisp. And I am from upstate New York. I'm actually right below Syracuse, New York, if you know, like the Syracuse Orangemen and all that stuff, big college basketball team. I'm from a town called Cortland, which I was talking about. JoJo's Bizarre Adventure is the hometown of Ronnie James Dio. So we legit have a street in town, no joke, called Dio Way.
Wow.
And it's great. So Cortland's a really cool little city. It's got a lot of, I'm Italian American, so it's got a nice Italian neighborhood, some Italian restaurants. It's got a cool boxing gym, a cool local comic shop that you see me do some drawing videos on my channel. And it's a cool little city. The New York Jets used to train here too. So the last time they were any remote form of decent, they used to train in Portland. So you're welcome for that, Jets fans.
Wow. So now, when did you get started on YouTube, and what was like the video that you made that like got like pretty much like kind of like went like viral for you?
Yeah. It's funny that you mentioned International Channel because I was a huge fan of the International Channel because the International Channel showed stuff from Japan, unfiltered. So, like, people our age probably remember, like, Toonami and the Cartoon Network, which I really like a lot, but it was like, yeah, right on, brother. All right, it was like the stuff was heavily edited, and so like as this like angry 10th grader, I'm like, this is bullshit, man. I want to see the opening credits to Dragon Ball. None of this, So we got International Channel, and they had like all the Japanese opening credits and Hey Music Champ and Korean all this stuff.
Yeah,
Korean music video heaven and all this kind of stuff. So. The reason I'm mentioning this is because International Channel sadly got taken off on my cable package, and so I was like really forlorn. I was like not happy about it, and I knew this Japanese girl at college, and I was like, "Oh, Yumiko, it's like terrible. It got rid of International Channel." She's like, "Well, have you heard of YouTube?" And this was like in 2006,
yeah.
And
That's
and
when
so
I
like,
found it the next year. Well,
Yeah, and I was like, "What that? What YouTube?
Yeah.
Like,
Not the band. Yeah, not the band though. Has anybody honestly got it confused with that? Honestly, they would mix it up. Mix it up. Yeah. Wow. That. Oh my God. This is you're almost like answering like all the questions here. But that's okay. So wait. Okay. So for International Channel, do you know like the whole history of like when you like first receive it, and was the International Channel like nationwide too? Was it like in other states as well?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was. It was centered on the West Coast because that's where they had the most Asian immigrants. So everything tended to be on West Coast time. So like I remember like they'd show Armored Trooper Votoms and the Irresponsible Captain Tyler at like 1 o'clock on the East Coast, 1 a.m. Because on the West Coast that would be at a reasonable time for people. International Channel, I got it through Time Warner Cable because that's what we had here in Portland. We only we have like one cable provider here, so it kind of sucks because you're kind of at the mercy of the monopoly.
Right.
But we got International Channel in 1999, and I remember it was really funny because okay, so I went to an evangelical Christian high school. Right, I have nothing but good things to say about that school. I love it. Cortland Christian Academy. Shout out to Cortland Christian Academy. Great place. The reason I bring that up is because my mom was like very overprotective and like didn't want me to watch Dawson's Creek, which was like the like teen soap opera kind of thing. It's like, I want to watch Dawson's Creek. And so, and then like, but like in 1999, we got two channels. We got the WB with Dawson's Creek, an international channel, and I'm Italian and my mom's Italian. And she's like, oh, we got an international channel. I can watch shows from Italy. And I'm like, oh, that's whatever. I can finally get to sneak Dawson's Creek. So, but anyway, like I ended up watching the international channel, and she did it because like once I found all that cool Japanese and Korean stuff, I was just like, I was all in, and that really started my love of J-pop. Is just watching the raw opening of Dragon Ball Z. So yeah, 1999, and I had that channel until 2005, and I never missed a Dragon Ball. And I was so pissed off because I remember it was like Super Bowl Sunday 2005. They were going to show like the last episode of Dragon Ball GT, and I turned on international channel, and the channel was gone. And I was so pissed off, man. It was like horrible.
Wow, that So 1999 was
2005.
So do you know like is that when like international channel official like in the 90s, or was it there beforehand? Like that's the part.
I don't remember the total years. It definitely existed before 99 because I'm friends with someone on YouTube. Like so I actually do live
International Channel for Life. Is that the guy?
International for Life. Yes. You are more than welcome to, and any viewer is more than welcome to stop by my live streams or anything like that. But International Channel for Life, we ended up being friends because of our mutual love with the International Channel, and he has uploaded videos through like Internet Archive and things like that are at least from like 1997. So I think it probably started in 97 and ran till about probably 2008. I think. I remember when it started.
That's about right.
Yeah.
Man, it's so it's so funny because like the first time I pretty much found like the Asian culture, it was like this. So we're getting to it. Like it's like you're already like we're already just like into it, but that's a good thing. We're just getting right. Man. So the first time I've like pretty much found something like this was like on Cartoon Network when do you remember the Cartoon Mysteries DVD CD-ROM things? It was from
super familiar.
It was in the cereals. It was in the cereal box from Kellogg's, and it's like as soon as you. And so the first thing I found, I was like watching the special features of it, and it showed Shonen Knife, and they did the soundtrack for Powerpuff Girls, and I didn't. And then this was in 2004. At the same time, I found Puffy, which is Puffy Yumi.
Yumi, yeah.
But it's like the thing I didn't know for like two of these bands is that 4 years later is that they were actually like a real thing. Because for me, it was like when I didn't even see their work like outside of Cartoon Network, but it wasn't even anything of like, well, I guess they're not popping if I don't see them. But no, it's just like I just didn't know until like 4 years later, and that's pretty much how I found YouTube in that same case and form. My favorite groups is Meanie Moni. That's like my favorite group of all time from Hello Project. So I've noticed that so now we're going to get into the thing that's called first and favorite. I've noticed that your title name of your user is called Noel ComiX.
Yep. And
so what was your first comic and your favorite comic? I'm going to start off a little first with my first manga for school. My first one was like Naruto, and like in school, like we would have to like read these scholastic books and like train ourselves like on the computer so we can get the book grades. And like my favorite manga though is like from Azuma Gadayo and Pop Team Epic. So what was your first comic and manga and favorite comic and manga? Oh, also I almost forgot. The only comic I could see myself familiar with was like Spider-Man.
Yeah. So, all right. So, American comic books. My favorite, and this kind of goes to. I think you were kind of hinting at like what was my first video that kind of like blew up.
Right.
And I mean, like we're talking like blow up by like lower tier YouTube standards, right? I you know, we're still climbing the ladder. I personally, I enjoy being like the cable access TV guy, you know. So X-Men, like '90s X-Men, was absolutely my favorite comic book, American comic book. And so when I found YouTube,
Right.
one of the first videos I saw was the Japanese TV Tokyo opening to the Fox Saturday morning X-Men.
Yeah, they had their own version of it.
They did. It was so much better, dude. Like, I mean, I love Jim Lee and Rob Liefeld. Like those like Mark Silvestri, like those '90s comic book artists that have kind of an Asian flair, but are like very kind of pop art, gestural drawing, figure drawing, dynamic stuff. You know, pop art, American pop culture style. So, like, the Japanese opening to X-Men from Fox really captured that incredibly well and animated it. And they did it with this band called Ambiance. And I was just completely blown away by it. This probably was still my favorite YouTube video to this day. So I went out and I tracked down the single, and I uploaded the MP3 to YouTube and did some artwork to it. And that's my highest video. I think that's at like 160K or something like that, you know. Yeah, right, there you go. Hooray. And so I freaking love X-Men, 90s X-Men. Wolverine is my favorite superhero. Like sexy girls with like, you know, kind of big hair, high cut stuff, you know, voluptuous kind of cool guys with stubble, and, you know, everyone looks like Don Johnson crossed with Arnold Schwarzenegger, you know, just that's like the best, you know. So that's absolutely, I love that style of American comic books. And then my introduction to anime and manga really came, I guess, Fatal Fury, the motion picture, I caught on the Sci-Fi Channel in 1998, I think. And it was like the style. I mean, I remember seeing like Voltron and Akira when I was younger. And I'm like, oh, that's like really interesting and cool, but it moves a little slow for me. But I saw Fatal Fury, and it had that AIC house style where it was like, again, like sexy girls, cool guys. Everything was like soaked in sunlight and exaggerated stylistic proportions. And I was like, what the hell is this? This is like, it looks sloppy, but it's masterful at the same time. And I just, that really struck me. And then I remember I was waiting for a pizza one day. The anime bug still hadn't totally attached itself to my brain.
Right.
And my friend was really into Dragon Ball Z. And he's like, oh, Dragon Ball Z is so good. I'm like, okay, yeah, whatever, you know. I was waiting for a pizza one day, and I just happened to click on the Dragon Ball Z that was Piccolo fighting Frieza's second form. And I was like, holy shit, this is like really, really good. And I was like completely hooked after that. I got into Gundam Wing, I got into Tenchi Muyo, I got into Outlaw Star, Cowboy Bebop, and, you know, and then International Channel with Armor Trooper Tom's Irresponsible Captain Tyler, Shinesman, all that stuff, you know. And and then I got really into the American release of Shonen Jump. I had a subscription for a long time, so I was reading Dragon Ball, One Piece, Shaman King, Yu Yu Hakusho. I got really into a comic book manga called Video Girl I. That was a really good one. Rurouni Kenshin.
Samurai X.
Yep. I also was into some girl manga. I had a subscription to An America Extra. And so there was Banana Fish was another one I really liked. Gakt, you know, the vampire pop star, you know, that was his favorite manga. And I got really into Yoon Koga's artwork. She did Earthian. And she also did the artwork to Gundam 00. So I really liked her artwork. I mean, Earthian was like a lot of like girly fan service stuff, which I wasn't kind of into, but it was like, I loved the artwork and the early part of the story. So That was another international channel anime that I liked. So yeah, those are some of the titles that really for anime and manga that really stuck early on with me.
So now I can see how they call you Noel Com. You know what Noel stands for, right?
Yeah, well, I'm born right before Christmas, actually. I'm
Wow.
born on December 18th, so I'm born a week before Christmas.
Gotcha. The channel I'm called is like Edo4, and it's like I'm called this because like I'm like the fourth of Eddies, and also like it was like two reasons like. First one was just like the main reason, and the second one I'm like I'm built for this. The first one it was, you know, the show Edda and Eddie.
Yeah, of course.
So there was one episode where they had to play Kings and Queens with Ed's younger sisters, Sarah and Jimmy. And one part, Eddie had a puppet that was called Edo. And that's how I got that information. And
very cool.
The second part was, have you seen a video? It's like it's been popular, and like a lot of like people from Japan and everywhere are viewing it too, called The History of Japan.
I don't think so.
All right. So there was one part where they were sharing like how Tokyo got its name, and the first name it was Edo, and it's just
yeah.
And that's actually how. Wow.
That makes sense.
And so
that makes sense.
From that note, like my very first anime that I remember when I was like 5 years old on Cartoon Network was Hamtaro. That was like my very.
Hamtaro was cute.
It was like the way I like describe it with people. It's like the hamster version of Rugrats. That's the way I always. So wow. So
that was a cute anime. I remember Hamtaro, and I like the artwork on that.
And one other like fun fact is like, did you know they had movies?
I'm not surprised, but I did not know. I wasn't like into Hamtaro that much, but I always thought it looked cool.
Yeah,
and that's awesome that they had movies.
They had movies. It's like we didn't get them, but like the big thing I remember from that, and it's like 20 years since they did the first one. They had like two other ones. One of the guest stars that was in the movie that I did a video report on was like Minimoni was in the movie. I was just like, oh my god, they themselves are hamsters. I'm like, oh my god. So
that is awesome.
Speaking of Japanese group, oh yeah. So when I really gotten into it, it was like 2009, and then from that point forward, I just went full on into this day. So on that note, it leads us to our next question, which is, what is your first Japanese group and artist and favorite ones of all time?
Awesome, man. That's a great question. TM Revolution. All right, you talked about Puffy, right? So
yeah, Puffy,
he was married to one of the girls in Puffy, and they got a divorce.
Huh.
It was
that, and
Mommy.
There was I remember there was another Glay. Glay was also married to.
I love Glay.
One of the members.
Winter Again is a fantastic song by Glay. I listen to it every winter. I listen to that song. It's such a cool video too. It used to be the closing credits to Hey 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 Music Champ.
And
I love Glay's great.
Oh man, and also like when they I think like from the late 90s when they did the open, like I love that you like shared the opening to him speaking English with Tomi Shinohara, which she's another video I'm gonna get to soon. Tomi Shinohara.
That's awesome.
And I think like TM Revolution. I remember when I saw that, I was like, oh my! Not only you found the opening, you found the makings. I'm like, oh my god!
That was such. I lost my shit in a good way when I found that. Dude, let me tell you what I used to do, okay? Because I, for the longest time, had dial-up internet. Like, I had dial-up
AOL?
Well, yeah, no, not even. AOL was a ripoff. I had, like, a local place called Odyssey, right?
Odyssey?
Yeah, Odyssey Networks. That was what I had. I had that through dial-up. They had better prices than AOL. Okay?
Oh, all right.
I had such slow internet with YouTube. I used to go to my friend's house and bring a VHS tapes. And I'd hook his computer up to a VCR and tape stuff off YouTube. And so that's how I have some of my stuff, is that I just taped it off of YouTube, and I found that TM Revolution clip and like jumped on it because one of my first exposure to TM Revolution was on Hey Hey Hey. He did the song called Boarding, and it was just awesome. And then I heard his Rurouni Kenshin stuff, and yeah, it was Daisuke Asakura. I'm big into like keyboard synth pop, and yeah, absolutely. So Daisuke Asakura was TM Revolution's producer, and so I love Daisuke Asakura's stuff. I actually just uploaded a band he used to produce called Run and Gun.
Okay.
Hey 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 performance.
He produced them
early days. He
20 years ago, right? When they.
Yeah. When they first started, I have their first Hey 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 performance on my channel. And he produced them. Another one, he produced a girl. She did Summer Rain, Yuki Kimura. I also really liked a lot. TM Network is another group I love. That was how Tetsuya Komuro got his start.
Yeah, for Avix. Yeah.
I love TM Network. City Hunter, Get Wild. They did Beyond the Time from Char's Counterattack. They have just awesome 80s synth pop. Self Control is another good song from them.
What was the first and favorite Korean artist of all time?
I would say that would be H.O.T.
Oh man,
one of my favorite shows to watch on International Channel was a show called Revolution. And they showed H.O.T.'s We Are the Future, and I was like, this is like so freaking cool. And then they had like a whole H.O.T. episode one time, and like they had like candy and I think like
everything.
Happiness. That's like that's fantastic.
From the beginning to like the end. The beginning to the end of their music video.
Yeah, dude. I think the last one they showed, and I have this video on the channel. It was like
the legend video. Yeah.
The Promise of H.O.T.
Yes.
It was really pretty, but it was like Korean videos are sometimes from that early 2000s period like unnecessarily depressing.
Oh my god!
Some girl in the future like died in a gutter, and then like the H.O.T. angels like took her to heaven and gave her a concert. Like that was the video basically.
Man, the craziest thing about it's funny like you mentioned H.O.T. They were the group before that was Soteji and Boys. They were pretty much the BTS of right now. And the thing that was actually so funny, I remember, was like one of the hosts was saying like, guys, can you please stop requesting
I remember the music video heaven. Okay.
Yes.
They used to have this these little asides to do the music videos. They'd have the girls do the music videos, and then they had this kind of he looked kind of like half Asian, half English or whatever.
Right.
And he's pleading with the viewers in the message boards for some kind of sanity for the H.O.T. fan base. And I thought the other group was G.O.D., but apparently it was another one was but please, we're all friends here. We can like both groups.
Oh my god. That was great. But
I remember that vividly.
For me, my first group, it's funny because it's in the same category as this. My first group was SES, and the song, it was
SES.
10 years after I was born, which is the first I'm Your Girl. Interesting enough, years later, I was talking to the dude who not only directed that video, but so many more, like H.O.T. One Time, everybody. This dude directed everybody and edit everybody too. The company in him is called Hong's Pictures, and I'll definitely share a link with that to you as well.
You are awesome, man. That is fantastic. That is so cool.
My favorite one is Boa. Boa's like my all-time. Boa. And before I get more into Boa, my favorite SES song, it was a song called Nonsense. The thing was, it's like that I'm Your Girl song. The rappers in it was Andy and Eric from the group Shimwa. And the way that they were rapping in Nonsense, it sounded like the Korean version of Ed and Eddie. What is your favorite food?
My favorite food would be angel hair pasta with meatballs. I live again in Cortland, and there's a great Italian-American restaurant called the Green Arch, and they have great angel hair and meatballs. So that's my favorite. Oh, or my wife makes great food too. That's my wife makes very, very good shrimp dishes. So that's also good. She just popped it. She's like, what about my food? She's a master with shrimp in a frying pan.
Gotcha. That's gonna sound delicious. Like if I come to New York one day and just like visit your house and stuff.
Yeah. I'll hook you up, man.
So, I would say mine is like pizza and just like any other stuff. It's funny because I remember like at first I didn't really like vegetables, but when they were like mixed into like Asian dish or like any type of meats and stuff, I wouldn't even know it was there, and it'd just be like, this is actually some delicious corn meat. What did you do? But like corn, like almost like what is it? Cornbread and stuff.
Yeah,
but it's like
Dude, my wife just made some really good cornbread. Like, no joke. It's funny that she just popped in here because she made a really good plate of cornbread the other day. So,
is there any like people you would like to collaborate with on your YouTube, and especially like outside of YouTube, like anybody?
Yeah. Well, I mean, I love that I'm chatting with you, man. So that's awesome. So I'm always down for any other interviews or collabs you want to do. My favorite YouTube channels, I really like this guy in Japan called Gaijillionaire. He does a lot of really good videos on just 90s and 80s obscure Japanese video games and pop culture stuff. So he's really good, Gaijillionaire. Kenny Lauderdale.
Oh my god! Yeah, that dude's amazing.
Kenny Lauderdale. So like you remember the TV show Home Improvement? Like,
yeah, of course.
Tim Allen. Okay,
it was on Nick at Night from my time.
I consider myself Tim Allen and Kenny Lauderdale, Bob Vila. You know, like Bob Vila was always like the big one with the big stage, and then Tim Allen had like the little Tool Time show. So Kenny Lauderdale was the Bob Vila to my Tool Time. I got mad respect for Kenny Lauderdale. I think it'd be awesome if I could just get to, I don't know.
I would say like my favorite video from him was when he was doing the video history about Miki Momo, and especially like the show that was it? I don't think it was. It was Kill a Kill. Like when he was just going over like
the Sailor Scouts and stuff.
I was just like, this exists in the 80s.
Yeah.
The girls are just super. It's like, I got this yo-yo. I'm like, oh god. And the coin. I'm like, not the coin.
Yeah, another video of his that I love is the Pony Metal U-Game one with Creamy Mommy. So he goes into like a deep dive of the like mech fan service doujinshi of Creamy Mommy. I really like that. And dude, when COVID hit, I was doing a contest for the Shonen Jump. They did an international contest.
Interesting.
So I was working on an entry, and actually it's on my channel. It's called Blood of the Best. If you want to check it out, if you got some time to kill.
Definitely.
I mean, you don't have to, but I watched so much on a loop of Kenny Lauderdale going off on Charge Man Ken when I was making that. I just was like dying laughing for like 4 days straight. That's like one of the best videos. And I like I never heard of Charge Man Ken before that. I kind of like get the vibe that they either unintentionally or intentionally hit. But I like that shit crazy stuff. And I really enjoyed seeing Kenny Lauderdale have a nervous breakdown over Charge Man Ken. It was fantastic.
I definitely will check that out. So as far as like YouTubing and like live streaming, it's like, is there any other things that you're doing like on the side and stuff?
Well, my main job is actually as a 7th grade social studies teacher.
Do they know about your? Does that school know about your YouTube channel at all?
Yeah, actually, one of the kids like mentioned it in the yearbook. It was like my favorite. They're like, what's your favorite YouTube channel? And they're like Noel ComiX because Mr. Passery runs it.
That is.
Sometimes I'll find it and they'll be like, "Well, I found your YouTube channel." It's like, yeah, I know, it's like really good. Like, I got no shame in my YouTube
Of
channel.
course,
So,
man. Of course.
but yeah, no, I mean, like, I do try to keep them separate. Like, if a kid stops by one of my live streams or something, that's fine because it's public. I
Right.
obviously won't be friends with anyone like on a private social media or anything like that. But I just think
Right.
of YouTube as like, this is my little cable access channel. And if I'm doing a live call-in show or something like that in the form of a live stream, and someone wants to stop by and say hi, I try to keep it, expressive of my personality, but positive and appropriate. So I haven't run into any trouble with anything like that. But
Right.
yeah, what I do is I teach social studies, and then what I do to relax is YouTube and manga and fan art.
Dope. For me, like right now, I'm in a school in Florida, like a college called Full Sail, and
Cool.
like I'm in right now. I'm in recording arts, and like like this will be like a song I'll redo for sure, especially because like I would like to be a musical artist,
That
and my
sounds awesome.
musical artist name is called Fast Ed, and the
Nice.
song I finished. But like I said, this will be like worked on more, even though it's like it's already out there and stuff. Called "Spending the Night on Earth," and like
Nice.
last year I just graduated from film, and I've been in like
Nice.
Florida for about 3 years. So also on that note, it's not on the same note but different note. So the video I did last time about Flame. So there. Oh wait, have you heard of that group Flame?
I don't think so.
Another video. Okay.
I'll check it out.
So their first music video, it was translated as the Spirited Woodpecker.
Okay.
They filmed their first video in New York, and I was also mentioning on that video that Speed's third single, "Go Go Heaven," it was filmed in New York City as well. And on that note, I would want to ask you, it's like, have you ever seen like other people from like different countries like film like music videos from where you live or something like that?
No, I wish, man. That'd be awesome. The closest I can, so I went to SUNY Binghamton for school.
SUNY Binghamton.
And I remember I was leaving a class, and the dance club was in the hallway dancing to Morning Masume's Love Revolution 21. And I was like, holy shit, what is going on? First of all, you know that song, number one, which shocked me. So I thought I was like the only person in that building that even knew what Morning Masume was. And then they were just like dancing to it in the hall with like all their dance club choreographies. I was like, that is fantastic, But that is the closest I've come to seeing any kind of cool J-pop happening in my home turf.
And it was interesting also when they were there for the 1999 MTV Awards that they won the international award, and they were in New York. I'm like, was it shown on? Do you remember it on the original?
Okay, so I don't remember that. I remember seeing that on YouTube.
Yeah.
But I don't remember. I don't remember seeing that live. My favorite. So I live in upstate New York, which is about 5 hours north of the city. I have been to the city. I obviously don't spend a lot of time there. My favorite J-pop stuff or Asian culture stuff that I think of when I think of New York City is B's Easy Come Easy Go video. I don't know if you've ever seen that.
Okay, they were in New York?
Yep, I love that song. So the whole thing is Inabakoshi is like this dancer in New York, and there's this like really pretty black girl who's like dancing.
Oh my god, yeah, I know what you're talking about now. Yeah.
And they cross paths and they like dance together.
Yes.
Like,
oh my god, I love that video.
Like,
yes.
And he's like kind of wearing cool, like early 90s cool guy clothes. And like it's like absolutely like one of my all-time favorite songs and videos. And I had that on my channel. I don't know if it got taken down or not. Or blocked, but I actually, when I would teach my kids about immigration, I would teach them about other countries' perceptions of the United States.
Right.
And I would show that video as a very romantic view of the United States and the ideal of New York City and stuff like that. I love that song. I love the visuals of that song. I love everything about that song. and New York City's awesome in that song. And then another one is Zard's "Don't You See" from Dragon Ball GT.
Oh my god!
I love that video.
Well, I was literally just, I didn't know if you were about to get to it or not, but I was like, I was exactly just thinking about Zard. And I always think about it a lot, especially like Speed again, their first music video, Body and Soul, they were in California. I'm like, how do you guys get the money for that? Since Halloween is coming up, do you know what type of costumes like you've dressed up as over time? Or that you can remember?
I mean, I have my earliest memories are being like Voltron for Halloween, but my son is actually going to be Bowser Jr. for Halloween, and I'm going to be Bowser. That's going to be our current.
That's going to
be our combo this Halloween, and and then we did a Mario and Luigi, me and my son, a couple of years ago, which was a lot of fun.
Dope.
And
like it was a Mario.
Yeah, we were Mario and Luigi for Halloween, and then
it was like this. I just wanted to be Mario.
Yeah, he was a good Mario, and then I remember my mom used to make me these cool costumes. Like, made me like Wolverine one year.
Oh,
and,
she made the costumes.
Yeah, she made like a Wolverine and an Archangel, so it was good stuff.
Yo, it's funny that you say that because. Like, I did a little bit from, like, I think, like, from 8 to 11. 8 to 11, I was Spider-Man, and, like, the last one, it's pretty much, I was Venom, but it's, like, we all said the Black Spider-Man. And also, my last one I did, I believe, 2 years ago, I was, like, it was, like, this zombie, stormtrooper type of thing, and it glows in the dark. So,
nice.
It's when you say like your mom made one of the costumes. My very first, and I mean my very first Halloween costume was Yugi from Yu-Gi-Oh! And my mom made like the jacket and stuff. And definitely, when I'm editing this, I'm gonna like have like a screen where it shows like my mom made the jacket, not the pants, but it's like the jacket. And I think it was a jacket, and it was like I was Yugi. I was like, oh my god, my mom's paying attention to this. Especially
that's so cool, man.
4 years later, Mori Musume. I was watching the commercials for Pocky, and then one day my parents brought me that, and I was like, yo, this is not from Walmart, and it was, and I was like, oh my good god.
That is so awesome.
So one thing, and I think I'm basically like when I like post this on other social medias, this is gonna be like a questionnaire thing for like myself. Besides like one of the other things being of like I'm gonna do another Q&A video. I believe that would be my third or fourth one I've done.
Mm-hmm.
It's probably not gonna be on this, but it's like it's one of the things I'm gonna ask for like while sharing this video, which is so. I am from Louisiana, and I was born in Atlanta, Georgia.
Mm-hmm.
If I wasn't from those areas, where do you think I would have been from? The stuff I got was two of my friends said that I was from Philadelphia, and another friend said that I was from here.
Okay, so I have a friend that I've met through YouTube that you kind of have a similar vibe to, and I mean this in a good way.
Of course.
And he's from Compton,
California.
So I would say California. I would guess West Coast, just because you remind me of my friend True Sinister.
I think I've heard of that person. But definitely, it is actually interesting you say that because my little sister, she's not from that area, but from California. She was born in California, and my mom, she grew up in California. It was. They call it Silicon Valley, but it used to have been called East Palo Alto. And also, she was born in Texas. Jesus, I forgot the place. I forgot the place of Texas. What was it? But it was Texas. It was Texas. And my father, born and raised in Louisiana. And one of the last questions I have is, any last words of encouragement for like other people, and how do you like people to remember you by? Just at any time.
So words of encouragement. I'm a Sunday school teacher, so I always tell my students that I teach in Sunday school to love God with all your heart and treat people the way that you'd want to be treated, right? Those are the two great commandments. And I think if you do those things, then everything will kind of fall in perspective for you. Your life won't be perfect, but you'll be a better person, and stuff will, I think, you'll view it through a kinder lens. And so I think that would be some advice I would give. And in terms of how would I like to be remembered, that's a really good question, because I don't know. I just kind of plug along and pursue my interests, so I don't really think of a legacy so much. But I would like to be remembered as someone who was a good representative of my beliefs. I would like to be someone who's remembered as someone who cared about his family, and I'd like to be remembered as someone who had some interesting talents that people like to look at. So I guess that would be my my three things I'd like to be remembered for.
Dope. All right, man. Thanks for again tuning into this and doing this for me. It's been a great interview, and I'll see you around. Bye. I hope you guys enjoyed this interview today and everything that we have shared. And as usual, follow me on my usual Twitter of @EdoMyLego, Instagram of @EHughesIV, and my Facebook EdoHughes4. And coming up at this time is the next episode of the next report of Yeah for my first channel. And as usual, until next time, guys, see you later. Goodbye.
Talking Fun with Edo.